everybody, this is Ryan McClanahan with historythroughcards.com. I hope you're all doing very well today. So, in honor of June 6th, D-Day, I thought we would talk about Yogi Berra here because he did fight on D-Day and he fought in World War II. And I really do love my World War II veterans. I love all my veterans. And I only got to meet Yogi Berra once in person, and I did two portraits for him before that. So when I was talking to him, actually, we didn't really discuss a whole lot about baseball. I just like Duke Snyder. We talked about everything under the sun except for that. I figured that I would just kind of let him talk and see what he wanted to talk about, and which is usually my style. Uh, I figured that a lot of ball players are asked questions about their career, but they're not really asked about other aspects. And so I was really kind of interested about his military career and other things too. So a lot of it's off the record and stuff that I've never really divulged to other people. I tend to not talk about the stuff from the ball players tell me that it's off the record. I usually kind of tend to keep that to myself. Yogi Berra is really kind of somebody that I grew up with, which is really strange because I never saw him play. But he's one of the rare ball players that really kind of transcends different generations. And Phil Rizzuto and Frank Gifford were other ball players who did the same thing. Um, I really saw Yogi Berra in commercials, and same with Phil Rizzuto too. In fact, Phil Rizzuto is somebody I first knew as the guy from the money store, and my father's generation, the baby boomers, they probably would have listened to him on the radio as an announcer, and my grandparents' generation would have known Phil Rizzuto as a ball player. And so I think Yogi Berra really has a very special place in American society, more so than I think any other ball player, except for maybe Jackie Robinson. However, or maybe even Babe Ruth, to tell you the truth, too. In any event, Yogi Berra's got a really fascinating story behind him, and I wanted to kind of tell you a little bit about him today. So I have some notes here. I'm gonna probably just gonna be looking down and talking to you guys while reading some notes. And I also want to ask you guys too, what is your favorite Yogi Berra card? For me personally, I think it would have to be the 1951 Bowman, followed by his 1953 Bowman, and then again the 1955 Tops here, which um, it's okay. It's probably very good, excellent, but I will grab a Yogi Berra card when and where I can. I'm not very choosy at all. I always tell collectors too, buy what you can afford. I think for me, this card cost me about $30. So it's again, it's a great card. I do love Yogi Berra's cards. I don't think you can go wrong adding Yogi Berra to your collection, and whatever grade it is. His 1953 Bowman, I had that long ago, and sold it to pick up a 1949 Bowman Jackie Robinson, and I felt really bad afterwards, just because I like Yogi Berra so much, and it turned out to be a really good deal years later. However, I did uh, I traded the 49 Bowman Jackie Robinson for a 1910 Red Cross boxing card is what I traded it for. And I really don't have a whole lot of regrets. I do have another Jackie Robinson card, and that's what I really kind of care about. However, getting back to Yogi Berra, Yogi Berra was born Lorenzo Pietro Berra, I'm sorry, in 1925, and he grew up in St. Louis, Missouri. And one of his childhood friends was Joe Garagiola. They played sandlot ball together. And in 1942, the St. Louis Cardinals were actually looking uh, at Berra. But see, the thing is that they chose Joe Garagiola, and Branch Rickey actually wanted Berra when he was going to Brooklyn. He already knew he was going to Brooklyn, but he put Berra on hold to go after Garagiola. Garagiola became a Hall of Fame broadcaster, um, and this kind of backfired on uh, Branch Rickey, and so he never got the chance because the Yankees grabbed his contract. He was really actually very good in the minor leagues too. But in 1943, he and his brother, his twin brother Peter, ended up joining the Navy together. And Yogi Berra ended up uh, at D-Day. I think he was on Omaha Beach, and um, there was another beach he was at, Utah Beach. He was on both beaches. That's one thing that I think I recently had learned about him. Um, he had actually spoke more openly about his World War II service as the years progressed. Toward the end of his life, he really started to open up, which a lot of ball players did. And I remember talking to Monty Irvin about his service, and he got PTSD from it, and he really didn't get the help that he needed uh, until like his later years. However, um, Yogi Berra actually got shot in the hand uh, by I think a German. Um, the Germans were shooting at him, and he got shot in the hand. But he didn't put in for his Purple Heart until after, I believe, in 1946. Um, and I think he also had another injury as well. When I was looking up his record, there is something where he did go to the hospital, uh, and I believe in 1945 he went to the hospital for undisclosed, um, I guess, disability or something. Something happened there. Uh, those records are not complete, so he didn't want to tell his mother. Is basically what it is, because it would have scared her to death, which I completely understand. But he got his discharge in 1946, and um, the U-boat thing. I'm not sure if he actually was on a U-boat. He may have, but I know he was in a few various firefights during World War II, and he was a gunner's mate on the USS Bayfield, which is a transport during Normandy invasion. Um, and he was a seaman second class. And he was off, yeah, he was off Omaha Beach and Utah Beach. I wasn't sure which one, but he was on both. So he mentions that Bill Dickey in the minor leagues really helped him out, and he credited him throughout his career with helping him become a better ball player. And he came up in, where was that? I know I wrote it down somewhere. Guys, when you write down notes and you take notes, make sure they're very accurate and you know exactly where they are. It's something that I have never learned, and someday I hope to learn that very well. But for now, uh, you got what you got. I'm sorry, guys. I'm trying my best here. Anyway, he made his debut on September 26, 1946, against the Philadelphia Athletics. He got 4 at-bats, 2 hits, 1 home run, and 2 RBI. And he shared his time in the outfield and as a catcher. And a lot of catchers do that. They'll switch to either first base or outfield or whatever to save their knees. And I even think that maybe Johnny Bench may have done that too. However, he also met Babe Ruth as well. And there's a couple of photos of him with Babe Ruth. I want to kind of show you what that looks like. So a friend of mine, Hank, who's about 90 years old, he's actually seen a lot of the ball players that I talk about. And one of the ball players that he saw quite routinely was Yogi Berra. Every time the Yankees ended up at Fenway Park, he would be there. And what he said to me was that Yogi Berra actually had a golfer's swing, and he was a very powerfully built person for being 5'8". He was like a jackhammer, and he was a very dangerous hitter because what he would do is he would basically mirror the pitcher, and he could follow that ball and hit it anywhere in the outfield. And he's actually got 358 home runs and 1,430 RBI. So again, he was dangerous. But I think this is actually the one of the few times that you have an catcher who's not really he's a defensive threat, but he's also an offensive threat as well. And I can think of maybe three ball players before him, actually two ball players uh, before him that were the same way, at least in the catching position. I should reference that catchers. Um, and one of them is Mickey Cochran, and I'll get to Mickey Cochran in just a minute. But the other one too is Bob O'Farrell, who is the catcher for the St. Louis Cardinals and Chicago Cubs. And O'Farrell won the 1926 MVP that year for the National League, which is really surprising to me because again, you had, I believe, George Sisler and Rogers Hornsby, uh, who always seem to, get the MVP. But um, let's talk about the MVP really quickly. So Yogi Berra actually has three MVPs to his name, and the first one he received was in 1951. The second one is in 1954, and that one was a little bit different than the other one. It was a split ticket, and there was a committee of 24 writers, and they had Bobby Oliva, Bob Lemon, Larry Doby, with five first place votes each. And for a while there, it wasn't all that certain that Yogi Berra would get the MVP. Now, in 1954, he had a 307 batting average and 125 RBIs, and he did edge out the others with 7 votes. Um, and one vote counts as 14 points. So in 1953, Al Rosen was unanimously chosen for the MVP that year. And in 1954, obviously, Yogi Berra just gets it. And then in 1955, he gets another MVP. And in 1954, actually, uh, there's only two catchers with the MVP, with two MVPs, in fact. I should clarify that. Uh, Mickey Cochran was the other one, and he got that in 1928, and then again in 1934 when he was the manager of the Detroit Tigers, and he went to the World Series, so that makes a lot of sense. And then in 1955, he joins an exclusive club with Jimmy Fox, Joe DiMaggio, um, and uh, it's really kind of interesting. I thought that maybe Lou Gehrig had three MVPs as well, but he didn't. He's got two, and I think they're back to back. However, um, Jimmy Fox got the MVP in 1932, 33, and 1938. Joe DiMaggio got the MVP in 39, 41, and 47. And the MVP replaced the Chalmers Award in 1931. And this is why Babe Ruth actually he has one MVP in 1925, and at the time the rules stated you could only have one MVP, which really kind of sucks. And then for I think maybe a year or two or few, uh, nobody got the MVP. So this was really impressive that Yogi Berra actually has three MVPs to his name. He also has another award that I wasn't really familiar with, and it's called the Bob Feller Act of Valor Award, and it's actually been uh, an award that's been recognized and given to 37 Hall of Famers who served in World War II. And I think that one, the Bob Feller Act of Valor Award, is given to Navy members. But there's also an award that is, I think it's the Jerry Coleman Award, but I'm not sure. And there's an award that the Marine Corps gives out as well. Um, and again, Jerry Coleman, uh, I think he was in the Marine Corps along with Ted Williams, and they're both pilots. And so that one was really kind of interesting to me. I wasn't sure, and yeah, Jerry Coleman Award for Marine Corps members. So um, I didn't write down who else had received that award, but I thought that was really interesting. And let me see if there's anything else here that I wrote down. I know Yogi Berra actually he did meet Babe Ruth, and I never asked him about that, but I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall for that, and I wasn't really entirely sure how or why Yogi Berra met with Babe Ruth. Was it for a charity game? Uh, maybe it was like after World War II, which it looks like, because Yogi Berra, did come up in 1946, and again in the 1947 World Series, he becomes the first player to pinch hit a home run, and again he was also in the outfield as well, and he in order to save his knees uh, at the end of his career, his playing career, he ends up in the outfield again as well, and he replaced Gil Hodges as manager following his um, playing career. And what happened was that he succeeded Ralph Houk as manager in 1963 after the 1963 World Series when the Yankees I think they lost that World Series. Some World Series I'm not really up on. I know the '61 World Series was the Yankees versus the Reds. I'm not familiar with the '62 at all. I haven't seen it yet. And the '63 I haven't seen it at all either. So I had to really have to kind of dive into my World Series watching at some point. It just so much is going on, guys. I would love to just watch World Series games and old baseball games all day, but I got work to do. So um uh he replaced Gil Hodges as manager of the Mets following his passing, and that team went to the World Series in 1973. What I thought was really kind of interesting is that there's something around Gil Hodges. Now I know he just got in the Hall of Fame, and I'm very happy for him. It's a long time coming. One of the things that Gil Hodges and people who really wanted to get him in for a long time was that there was some speculation that Ted Williams prevented Gil Hodges from getting in, or at least prevented uh, Roy Campanella from voting, and I'm not entirely sure that's correct. It could be correct, but the timeline of events um, don't really match. And what I mean is that um, there's something with Gil Hodges and Ted Williams. Uh, at least that's what the theory is, and then and maybe it was because they were both managers at the same time, but again the timeline of events don't really match up, and because you have Yogi Berra here as manager of the Mets as well, and Gil Hodges, I think he was um, I think he was the manager of the Senators, but again I know he played with them toward the end of his career. I just don't see, I just I can't connect the dots here to say that Ted Williams had something out for Gil Hodges because that doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. Um, they never played together that I'm aware of. Even even in exhibition play. Uh, so I don't know what that would be. Um, and I know Mickey Vernon was also a manager of the um, um, the Senators as well. But that was 1961. So again, you're talking like the late 60s and early 70s, and so anyway, I'm not really entirely sure like what's going on there with Gil Hodges and Ted Williams. Probably nothing is my bet, but um, Ted Williams was a stickler for the rules, and in all sincerity, he probably just wanted uh, Roy Campanella to show up at the Hall of Fame to vote, and he couldn't do that because of his condition. And that was 1994, and that was really the best time that Gil Hodges had to have been in the Hall of Fame. I think he missed out by one vote. But all is right in the world of baseball now, I guess, because the gods have decided that Gil Hodges get in the Hall, and he has. So I'm very happy about that. And Yogi Berra is also in the Hall of Fame, which he definitely belongs there. And I do really enjoy yogiisms very much. And I did write down a few. I do have my favorites here, so I want to show you guys or tell you guys some of my favorites. There's so many of them. I really had a hard time choosing, but one of them is pair up in threes, and I have to figure out what exactly that is in context. And then the other one that I really enjoy is 90% of the game is half mental. Um, and then he said, when you see a fork in the road, take it. I agree with that. Just wash it first, you know. And so the future ain't what it used to be. I mean, no kidding. And then another one he used to say was, "It gets late early out there," and never answer with an anonymous letter, and that one's really tough. But he's got so many great yogiisms, and I would have loved to have seen him play. And I did see him on TV as a pitchman for Aflac and a few other commercials as well. And that's where I really kind of really known who Yogi, not just as a ball player but as a pitchman. And he's not the first one, obviously, but he did transcend generations through his commercials as well. So, guys, let me know what you think about this. If you guys have any good yogi stories or what your favorite card is of Yogi Berra's, I'd love to know. And until the next time, thank you so much for stopping by. I really appreciate it. And I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.